How are you guys doing? Awesome. I appreciate your guys' patience, we're at the end of the night, and I'm actually super stoked to go last. I'm just really excited to be here. This is me. Oh wow, I made this really fancy. Yeah, I do a couple things. I run a company called MedConnect. I'm involved in an organization called Impact Mentality, and we're really focused on social impact, utilizing sort of Gen Z influencers to influence the world on social impact. And then I'm also connected with the League of Innovators, which is a youth accelerator, like a youth entrepreneurship accelerator that was founded by Ryan Holmes, the CEO of Hootsuite. So I have three sort of quick points. And, I was really intrigued by hearing everybody else's talks today, because I don't have a lot of very specific technical things to talk about. And my first point is really, is a shameless plug. My first point is don't disqualify yourself. It's really it can be intimidating speaking at an event like this. I feel like everybody at some point has something in their life where they feel like they're disqualified because they're not the expert. I feel like a lot of people are always focused on being the expert, but it's important to remember that you do provide value in whatever situation you're in, even if you're not the expert. Your specific moment, your specific history provides a lot of value to somebody else. There should be a lot of different people speaking here instead of me. Going outside, meeting a lot of you guys are a lot more qualified and experienced to be speaking here than I am. But the fact is, I feel like these three lessons that I feel like I'm continually learning over the last year and into the future can provide you value as well. And so my second point is, you haven't ever learned enough to stop learning, and I think that can almost seem a little ironic coming from somebody so young where I still have so much to learn. I'm a developer by trade, and the development world, as a lot of you know, moves really fast, and you have to keep learning. But I think it's also important to remember that, for me at least, you have to continue learning in other areas and portions of your life as well. So for me, that is, my friendships, the team I'm leading, continually learning how to be a better leader and continually learning how to be a better servant as well. Because the fact is, in some rooms you're the teacher and in some rooms you're the student, and not getting tied up in ego when you're the leader that you can't be the student, and remembering to sort of humble yourself all the time. And this is sort of my main point now, is pursue purpose, not passion. And I think a lot of people sort of touched on this a little bit. By a show of hands, how many people have ever heard of find your passion, pursue your passion? Awesome, yeah. How many of you feel like you've found your passion? How many of you feel like you found more than one passion? Exactly. And so my friend and I sort of ran into this challenge over the summer as we were discussing this. Everyone's pursue your passion, and we're like, cool, but I'm passionate about so many things. I love coffee, I like wine, I like development, I like business, I like art, I like creating things, and how does this all work together? I felt like I had this conflict of time. How can I do all these things? And I felt like, I was really passionate about business, and how can I spend time on a side project when I should just be working on my company? And there's so many things, and this brings up a conversation of focus that I'm not going to talk about because I'm really bad at that. But the other thing that sort of happened for me was I placed my identity within one of my passions. So I would introduce myself, I'm Jeremy, I'm an entrepreneur. That's who I am. And when I identified who I was and placed the value of who I am within that, I really sort of it created some liabilities. And the first one is, when I failed, it was I, as a human, that failed. Part of me failed instead of what I was doing. I failed at something I was working on. And the other part is, there's a lot of other people that have a lot of passions that are similar to yours. And there's always someone younger, smarter, more talented, that moves faster, that's better looking, doing what you're doing, or doing the same, that's in the same passion. And that creates this sort of framework for you to be able to compare yourself. And as we all know, that doesn't work, because then you start to worry about what people say, start to worry about what people think. And so purpose is a little bit different. It's unique to every individual. And I want to sort of hedge this next point and just state I'm fundamentally super aware this whole conversation comes on the foundation of privilege. We're all super lucky. We're in Canada, first of all. It's 2018. We have the opportunities to pursue our startups. And for me, I'm aware I'm a white man. I'm young. There's so much privilege in this, but I really think a lot of this is it comes down to mindset to an extent, and I do want to be cautious because there's so many like real life things that I probably can't even grasp. Like I don't have a family, like I don't have kids to worry about at this point. Like there's so many like real life things, and I'm definitely aware. But I think for me, it's sort of the abundance versus scarcity mindset. I think it's one or the other. I think it's the same as like you can view any situation positively or negatively. And a lot of this sort of also can be summarized in Simon Sinek's, Why TED Talk. I feel like, raise of hands, like if you've seen that TED Talk. Okay, and if you haven't, I definitely recommend watching that. And so sort of over the summer, we sort of crafted this understanding and sort of came across this idea that, your passions are actually just vehicles to fulfill your purpose. And so you can utilize everything to fulfill what you feel like you're here to do. And for me, that's a lot of like around social impact, around creating a future that I'm excited by. I feel like tomorrow is always going to be greater than it is today. And even though that might not look or seem true, I want to spend every moment of my life proving that to be true. Because if tomorrow's not going to be better than today, what's the point of waking up in the morning? Like if I don't think I can change something or do something, what's the point? So I really want to challenge you guys to really think about purpose and like what are you trying to do in your business? What are you trying to do? Like what is this leading to overall beyond money? Like and a lot of you might have an answer to that already, and I think you're right on track. And that's basically all I have. You can follow me online there, and if you can email me too, that's cool. We use that still.
One question? Anyone? One question? There? I can't see. Okay. Oh, here. Okay, I'll run up because one question. We got time for one more. Pardon? Oh.
First, I just want to appreciate how humble you are. And my question is, you said you don't want to constrain yourself to, I'm an entrepreneur, so have you found a way of, defining or like introducing yourself in a creative way?
Have I found a way to like introduce myself in a creative way? I think it's a very individualistic thing. When you were a kid, were you ever super like into painting or music? I think sometimes going back to your roots, and I know for me even, it's easy. There's always so much work to do when you're involved in a lot of things, and I realized that naturally my body, I felt like I needed to rest every like week and a half or something if you don't take any time off, and I refused to do that. So I just like my body just like made me rest, and I felt like crap the entire time because I was thinking about all the work I had to do. And so I think, taking intentional time, if it's a half hour, an hour, a weekend, whatever it might be, we all know at this point hard work is no longer a differentiator in business. It's a barrier to entry. So like what's going to differentiate you in the long term? And I really think that's sustainable mental health. Like how sustainable is your life, or are you building a life you need a vacation from?
Fantastic answer. Round of applause again. Sorry.